right, dear Neil, hello, welcome. Welcome in my space. And I just wanted to, this conversation today will be very natural and very spontaneous because Neil and I connected really randomly. I mean, I don't believe in random connection. Anyway, let me correct myself. But by universe, I can say, because we definitely been on the same frequencies and energies. And Neil catch my attention because I read his blog about kind of fake spirituality, which actually in these very challenging and transformative times that we all are going through personally and collectively, this subject was really, really resonating with me because I mean, both of us, we had our personal awakening journey and also big realization of what is exactly spirituality and what is the fake in spirituality. And Neil is only 20 years old. And when we connected, I told to him, we definitely need to do some communication and some short mini podcasts or just a natural human conversation so we can share out there. And maybe some of you will resonate with this story. But yeah, we are two generations because Neil is 20, I'm almost 45. And I was like, wow, this is beautiful way to connect two generations talking about this subject. So Neil, please, you can introduce a little bit yourself and what are you doing, who you are, where are you coming from, and what made you to write the blog about fake spirituality?
Yeah, so my name's Neil and I'm from London. And for me, I feel like, so for me, I want to talk about my introduction to spirituality because obviously not everyone is taught about this at school. You're not taught about this at school. So for me, it's like I felt really pressurized at school and it was all about like achievement and competition, and I felt very like boxed up. So I kept on generating this sort of energy of anger and self-hatred and depression. And I kept on having to release that energy. And what happened over a period of time, you could say manifested, or you know how energy kind of influences matter. So that over a period of time, looking backwards, I could say that could have contributed to this illness I have. And so I feel like when I was 18 years old, I kind of manifested or whatever. So there was like an MRI scan showed like lesions in my spinal cord. So between C4 vertebrae and T1, it was showing like there's sort of inflammation and a degradation of the myelin sheath, meaning basically it's like a hose pipe and there's kind of holes in the hose pipe and there's kind of electrical signals kind of pouring out. And this is called, it's like a 1 in a million illness. So like the doctors, they didn't really know, like, how is this even possible? Like what's happening here? So, so conventional medicine, they give their labels, and, at least I've got like a physical scan of that kind of, and then we had repeat scans. And my family being, so I said there's a lot of pressure. So my family being Asian, so we have doctors in the family, and, they're not sure, like, what should we do? So they gave me medicine. I regret taking it, but anyway, so I had strong immunosuppressive medicine because they thought it was an autoimmune kind of reaction. And so I feel like it makes sense, because if you have self-hatred, you're kind of beating yourself up. So if you look at that kind of manifestation in the spinal cord, your body is basically attacking itself. So from that, if you look at the implications of that energetically, it kind of makes sense. But what happened was that, so I was ill, and like my parents were thinking, what should we do? So I think I was at I did some yoga with this lady, and she kind of recommended me to like look into alternative holistic medicine. And so I kind of then searched up on the internet, and I kind of found a spiritual shamanic counselor. So for me, I felt, okay, maybe let's try something. I have no idea what it is. Let's try it out. Let's see what is it all about. So we kind of tried it out. And this has kind of led me to this healing journey. And so Marina was talking about fake spirituality. So that's kind of a later realization I have. You don't, at the start, when you're just seeing, okay, what is this all about? What is this? What people are talking about, law of attraction, what is it all about? And you looking on the YouTube, you can see there's so many videos on social media, YouTube, like, okay, what is this? And so I talked about how I've led up to this kind of spiritual path. And now now it's kind of funny because I've kind of gone through that cycle, but now there's a bit of me that's feeling a bit disgusted about spirituality. I think Marina was saying to me initially, like, what was it, spirituality is not humanity, and I resonate with that. So that's one of the reasons why we're doing this kind of video. But I feel like a lot of I can say this from my own personal experience, so I'm just saying what I experienced. I'm not going to tell you this is what you should believe, because life will do that for you. But so my opinion is that, well, from my experience, I've been to many energy healers, and the idea of a healer in itself is egotistical. And I don't believe there is any difference between the level of a healer and a healee. I feel like they're both on the same level, and I don't feel like I should, like, it's like I'm saying I've got all the power to heal you, and then the healee is the one that's vulnerable, and if they're feeling inadequacy and lack of self-worth, lack of self-power, lack of self-empowerment, so that's why they go to the healer in the first place. But anyway, so I've been to many healers, and these healers, they kind of proclaim, well, they feel like they have this power, and I'm sure they have powers. But for me, what now reflecting back, kind of what I kind of feel is that a lot of these healers, they kind of in this sort of level of denial. I mean, I'm not gonna just like, I'm not gonna be in denial myself, so I'm gonna express this now, like, in this safe space. So they're in a level of denial, and kind of, there's this word called like spiritual bypassing, you can call it.
We were talking about that some of the healers always was urging you and telling you, be just focus on positive, thinking positive, just look positive things, and so on and so on, which means directly neglect the rest of the thing. So that's the danger.
For me, what happened was I was in a constant state of chasing positivity. So, I don't know, but there's these different, there's a lot of different teachers and gurus. So some of these healers were recommending, or this first one of the first ones I saw recommended me this sort of Abraham Hicks. But basically, it's like a kind of law of attraction, and they have this sort of emotional guidance scale, and they have different energy. So they say, okay, gratitude is the highest frequency, and depression is the lowest. And so they're saying, okay, you should always try and chase the emotion above. But what it is, it's a very linear system. I don't feel our bodies are linear. I don't feel life is linear. I feel it's an ecosystem. I feel you could call it enlightenment, or you could call it just being. But I feel like being is being able to be open, accept, and see all parts of yourself. I feel like, and also what we're talking about, duality, is there's always a positive and a negative, or like a yin yang kind of relationship. So
exactly.
you kind of, yeah. So I feel
exactly. We don't exist without both, and if we don't know how to accept our darkness and our light together equally with the same love, like we're gonna accept the light side of us, then this is where we can really trust our inner authority. This is where we can really tap into this essence of who truly we are. And when we were talking about, Neil, sorry to interrupt you, about how we connected, and we says spirituality is equal humanity. And what deeply, deeply, deeply pulled me out, like somebody slapped me, Neil, on my cheek, and pulled me out and brought me back and grounded into three-dimensional world a little bit before that. But when we started to witness, I need to mention really very, very, very emotionally hard events that we have in Sudan, in Palestine, down in Gaza, all over the place. I saw at that time, actually, from all, for so many healers representing themselves as a healers and being in the spiritual industry, right? Of actually pulling back and not being the voice to those who doesn't have the voice. And I was like, this is why we did all this work. This is why we are awakened ones today, right? Because we can share the voice, at least for those who can't. That thing, because for me, my heart always was humanity, serving humanity, and serving here, and creating the new DNA into this dimension, right? From the higher consciousness, dropping down and creating here now, right? Nothing in any la la land or bypassing or just being focused on a positive. So those things, Neil, really pull me back out, and I could had a big vision and bigger picture of actually what is representation of spirituality that is not spirituality, because spirituality and humanity is actually ingrained together. They're going together hands on hands. And what is the purpose of actually being awakened and being such a conscious human being and aware, first of all, of yourself and about everything around you, right? What is the point of awakening if we just need to be in a la la land, obsessed with our own power and constantly, like you said, chasing some power? So because each one of us have that power within, each one of us have the divinity within. Just we also spoke about it, just not everybody still has awakened or activated that power within, right? So, and that power for me is really coming back to our unconditional love, really accepting ourselves for who we are, first of all. So yeah, this is what I wanted to share. And it's so interesting how Neil and I connected at the same time, at the same moment. And I found his blog on this subject, and we're just starting to share our thoughts. And I was reading other blogs, and I was like, this is really what is resonating with me. Because sometimes, Neil, when you tap into that, when you get also very, very awakened, and when you listen, like you said, so many other things. And now when we drop here in some moment, you feel, oh, is this right? But of course it's the right, because we are very complex human beings in three-dimensional world, and there is a different dimensions of us. There is no one side, right? There is so many different realities at this moment, and everything is already created, right? So we also spoke about that the life is the best teacher, but we to come on the level to understand what life wants to teach us, it's really becoming awakened. Right, Neil? You can also share. We were talking about that. So.
Yeah, so I feel like so I wrote a blog recently about like mistakes. I think a lot of sometimes my mind kind of plays over just previous mistakes, and I don't really see mistakes as mistakes, because okay, in school, like we're taught, so we have a very conditional love kind of process in school. It's where you reward yourself for your successes, you kind of punish yourself, or you even your classmates can mock you for your failures. So we kind of then, if we haven't done any deconditioning, if we haven't done any kind of inner work, then we kind of play out that program like robots. We're just playing out a program. So for me, like I've come to the realization that life is the best teacher, because I feel also that, okay, say like if we're in a religion or in a spiritual community, or we have all these different layers of external authority, and they will always some of them, they're not always in your best interest. It's down to you to feel into what is representative of you and what isn't. But what I'm saying is that a lot of them, they can tell you, okay, you need to do, like, okay, a guru could sell you a formula to enlightenment. They could say, do this yoga, do these breathing exercises, do these chakras, and you can keep on doing that. And you can say, okay, they're your teacher. They can teach you, they can give you they can create a system. The system is a structure of information, a structure of energy, and they'll give it to you and they'll credit you at the end and say, yeah. But for me, it's like, but for me, that's just like, it doesn't resonate with me anymore. Why? Because for me, it feels like there's an energy, there's a consciousness in the fabric of this reality. And everything in this reality, I'm only trying to conceptualize something that cannot be, I cannot express into words exactly what this reality is because it's not possible. But what I'm saying is that there's a consciousness in this reality that is intelligent. What does that mean? That means then if there's an intelligent fabric, there's an intelligent web of space-time in this third dimensional reality, it means that there's information in that consciousness, which means then if you align and you're open to the information, if you're open to receiving the information and you allow the dimensional space and time to work with you throughout that experience you're having here as a third dimensional being, you'll be like, say like a few weeks ago I did this thing that felt good for me at that moment in time and space. Now if I was to reflect back at point A, which is that time and space, that would feel like a mistake. So I would perceive it differently just because maybe I've had a new preference, a new value. So I've had contrast that leads to the perception that I have now. What I'm saying is that sometimes you have to go through mistakes to either give rise to contrast, which gives rise to your values or preferences, or just to teach you something. So what I'm saying is if you align to life, if you're open to life, life will bless you, life will teach you. Your mistakes are blessings. I don't feel like, I feel like also, so we're living in duality, right? But I feel like once we, I don't like using the idea too much of raising vibration. I don't really resonate too much with that, but I'm saying like once we kind of open our awareness and consciousness, I feel like we see things as all being God or all being love. So if we see the good and bad as being love. So we see everything in this life contains spirit, contains information, energy. So if we kind of, basically any mistake that we make is simply just information. And if we extract the information and bless it without hating ourselves for it, we can basically view that as life teaching us. So yeah, life is the best teacher.
And I love to call mistakes more learnings. Like learnings through life. When we say mistake, it's a different feeling, right? Around like, oh, I did something mistaken. It was like not good for me. But learnings and codes and messages from experience, like a virtue that we took from that experience, what kind of strength we took from the experience. And this is, how personally I love always to look on something that maybe didn't benefit me or really harm me in some way, or I went through so much pain over and over again. So I need to go back to see what this situation showing me that I truly need to accept about myself, that I truly need to accept about myself. And like you said, we love to look on the light side of us, on all the positive side, like a love and light, right? But there is a dark side of us. So need also that love and light to be embraced and to be seen and to be visible. So like you said, also everything is always in a movement, and because also you don't like this word raising vibrations and all of that. Same here. Same. I always like to say opening your heart and really embracing life and yourself in that connection, so we can really experience and go through our life with a more wisdom, with more presence and openness, and really openness. And this is what I always call is like inner authority, that inner trust, when you don't doubt, when not everything is going on the right way, and then you doubt that life doesn't love me, or I don't know, friends doesn't love me, or whoever, right? Or maybe even parents. But that's really the process in life. And I really, really love everything, Neil, that you share around energy, around experience with spirituality, around your awakening, and what it's really for you, your personal experience. So, would you like to maybe for the end, so we can make closure for this communication today, which not gonna be the last, is the first one. So we have a lot of subjects that we can talk about it, and maybe put from the darkness into the light. And maybe, who knows, maybe we can bring some aha moments to people, because I believe that both of us, we love to, and we actually agree to do this because we stand for humanity, and it's divinity and power in every single human being. So no matter if we choose, Neil, to work with somebody, or we asking for support, it's all about the values and where is the person at this moment, and the energy, the energy around the person. So I share with you, for me is always personally, always, if I'm looking for support, what are the values of person? Is it the person embodiment of the things that person is really sharing? And my inner authority is only my willingness, how I want to go through experience. It's not about other person and ever. So this is something that I realize also through my awakening, what is truly important to me, and what is all this la la land and representatives of the spirituality that is not grounded, that is not serving inequality, how to say, where you feel that you are below, right? You feel like you are below. So but we are not. So my intention for this communication was today really to maybe both of us open up a little bit some spaces in the minds, in the hearts, and in the bodies, to people start to see the beauty within them, the strength within them, divinity within them, and the power that they have, really. So we don't give away just like that what already we have within. Somebody says, oh, how, I remember a long time ago, somebody says, how you can bring back your power when you don't have power? And this is the person who actually is representative, right? Representing herself as a healer. So I was thinking, no, of course I have the power, because I'm alive, I'm existing, I'm created from some higher intelligence. So definitely I have it. So this is, like you says, when people are vulnerable and people are maybe on the beginning, and when we have hardship in life and we are looking for something to catch on, right? For kind of help. This is where we can, get tricky about choosing people, giving our authority away, really, and doubting that we have that power already within us. We just need to willing to see that again and to activate it. That's it. So please, Neil, if you would like to add on something, we will have a lot of communications. And
yeah, I feel like there's so many layers and levels of. I was thinking of what to say, but there's so many. From what Marina's saying, there's so many ways you can expand. Because what we're saying here is like it's a simple message, but there's so many dimensions to what we're saying and so many implications. Because you say one thing, but if you think about it, that one piece of information has a domino effect, has a ripple effect in the quantum, meaning that one piece of information has so many implications. So I feel like for today, I don't feel like there's so many things that we could explore, and perhaps it could mean revisiting the topic, but you're exploring a different aspect of it, because no conversation will be the same. There's no thing is nothing, as Marina's saying, everything's in flux, everything's in motion, everything is moving constantly. Nothing is stagnant, nothing is not vibrating. So I feel like even if we were to explore this topic another day and just tap into it and see what comes up, then that'll be a completely different that could be a completely different set like communication than we had today. And maybe we even life teaches us more, but I feel like for me, like what my inner guidance is saying now, like for today, I feel like we kind of rounded it up, and yeah, it feels complete, and I feel like, yeah, I'm very happy with what we've shared. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Neil. Thank you so much. I'm so happy that we connected and that we are two generations talking about the same subject. And this is what really, really warmed my heart, because I, didn't expect that, to see such a young human being, such a smart and so conscious and aware. So I am very honored to have this conversation with you. And I hope so. Those who will listen this recording, that will be with open hearts, really to receive that, because like you said, this is only our experience. And this conversation also, I will not like to be kind of oh, this is the way, or because we experience that's the way, right? Like a kind of influence. But just when one genuine human conversation with a similar experience with the two different generations, and with the same exploration and now same consciousness about what exactly spirituality is. So sometimes, when I'm thinking about it, I will finish shortly. When I was little, they always say, always be sure when you are walking, wherever you are walking, that grass is growing after you, that flowers growing after you. And I remember that my dad was always telling me that, and my mom. And even now, when I'm talking about it, I remember those times. So truly, truly, really, spirituality, it's our hearts, our compassion, kindness, empathy, acceptance, and massive, massive, massive souls that we are, right? And came here to plant really beautiful seeds on our planet. So maybe that kind of energy I would like to be activated through this conversation, because it will be beautiful wherever we are walking somewhere, we to plant some grass behind us. So yeah, people into us and we into others, so into our beautiful planet, so we can create something better. At least we started, Neil. You are 25 years behind me, so you will have extra 25 years, right? But we started to plant those seeds. And thank you so much for today. I really appreciate you, and I'm looking forward for the next conversation.
Thank you.
So thank you so much to everybody. I hope so this could resonate with you, and hope that Neil and I can little bit open your hearts also, and minds and bodies, to receive whatever feels right for you to receive today. So sending you so much love, and thank you so much, Neil.
Thank you.